Miss Midas, you and Mr. Duhane were dating. It is your claim that you made him a series of loans, primarily because he intimidated you.
Correct.
Mr. Duhane says that nothing could be farther from the truth. You gave him a lot of money. You gave him money because you wanted to, because that's the way you operated romantically. He was in some financial straits during the period of the relationship, and you just filled in the blanks. Never any discussion of repayment. Is that right, sir?
Yes.
Okay. How old are you?
22.
What do you do for a living?
I detail boats.
You do that full-time?
Full-time, yes.
How much do you earn?
I'd say about 13 an hour.
And how many hours a week do you work?
Full-time, 40.
Who do you live with?
Right now I'm just living with myself.
And what about you? How old are you?
21.
And what do you do?
I go to school full-time and I work full-time.
What do you do at your full-time job?
I work with mentally disabled people.
I don't hear you.
I work with mentally disabled people.
Full-time where?
At REM,
And how much do you earn?
40 hours a week, and I earn $9 an hour.
And why in the world would you give him money?
Because he intimidated me.
Well, tell me when the first time was he intimidated you.
When he needed money and he had nowhere to stay, and he stayed at my place, and I borrowed him money because he had none, and he said he would pay me back, and I believed him.
Yeah. And?
And then he continued to need money, and I continued to borrow him money because he
You
continued.
loaned him money.
I loaned him money.
He borrowed, you loaned.
Yes.
Stay in school.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And he said that he would not pay me back if I would stop talking to him.
That's a completely...
Shh. That's ridiculous. I never heard something so ridiculous in my life. Doesn't make sense. Go ahead. Keep going.
Okay, so then he followed me to St. Cloud, and he lived with me because he had nowhere to stay for a while. And then he moved into an apartment.
So he followed you to St. Cloud. That's, I assume, a place.
Correct.
Right?
Your Honor, I just...
Shh. And he lived with you there.
Correct. He stayed with me.
Just a second.
Okay.
For how long did he live with you?
About a month.
And you were going to school full-time and working full-time at that
Correct.
time? So when you were working full-time, you had an opportunity to go to the police?
Yes, I did.
You had an opportunity to file a report to get somebody out of your apartment that you didn't want there?
Correct, but
You never did?
Correct.
Ah, keep going.
Okay. He got pulled over in November of 2007, and he said that there was a warrant out for his arrest, so he went to jail. And he was working at Holiday, a gas station in St. Cloud at the time, and his coworkers bailed him out for $500, and he needed to pay them back right away because they took the money out of the safe at the gas station illegally, and he needed to pay them back, and he didn't have money, so I borrowed him the money, or I loaned him the money to pay back the gas station, but I only had $400 at the time to loan him, so I did, and he said he would pay me back the following week when he got his paycheck from the job. And then he ended up quitting, and then he said that they didn't give him the paycheck, and he did nothing about going to get the paycheck from them.
All right, so far the only thing I'm sympathetic with you about is this bail money, because as far as I'm concerned, when somebody gets arrested and there's bail, that's their responsibility.
I did not follow her to St. Cloud. I lived in Duluth currently. I'd stayed with her a few times. The reason why I went to St. Cloud was for different job opportunities. The Holiday gas
Who
station.
did you stay with when you were in St. Cloud, when you got there?
At first, Trista.
So you stayed with her?
I did, yes.
That's all she said. She said you stayed with her.
But the job opportunity at that time before...
There were gas stations elsewhere.
There were, yes.
So you didn't have to go to St. Cloud to get a job in a gas station?
Yes, correct.
Perfect. We're talking about your bail, sir. Did you take money from her to pay back these guys who stole it from the gas station?
No, my manager had access to take that money out, and she came and bailed me out. And the reason why I didn't receive my check was because...
You're not listening to me. I said, did she give you money to pay back the money that the people stole from the safe at the gas station?
No, she didn't give me any money. The assistant manager bailed me out. She's the only one that paid for it.
And she didn't give her back any money?
No.
That's a lie.
The money...
That's a lie. Because she's not smart enough to make up that story. So you're lying to me?
No, no lying.
Oh, yes, you are. Because the manager doesn't own the gas station. And if there's $500 missing from a safe, the manager is going to have to make good on that money to the owner.
What she put her own money in at that time, the day after.
Whose money?
Her own money, the assistant manager's.
Really?
Yes.
What's her name?
Julie.
Julie what?
I'm not quite sure on her last name.
That's why you're a liar.
I disagree. I know lots of people, I don't know their last names.
Nobody who's working for $6 an hour would give you money unless you knew their last name, and they knew your last name. You're not talking about people who are earning millions of dollars a year and say, well, it's $500, he looks like a nice kid. You're talking about somebody who works in a gas station. That's why you're a liar, and not a very good one.
Your Honor, I have a copy of the check I wrote to the gas station.
I knew he was a liar. He's a liar.
I know. I have a history of his court. He had many court cases.
Listen,
okay.
I'm not interested in his background, madam. You should have gone into his background before you started to give him money. But
Yes.
you gave him money. I don't believe you loaned him money over the course of the last year and a half, because he never paid you back except for one check that bounced, according to you, and you kept giving him money. And eventually there comes a point where a judge hearing you says, you don't have a legitimate expectation of his giving you back any of the money that you gave him. You have to have a legitimate expectation of being repaid. You're giving him money and giving him money and giving him money, and it doesn't stop. And I don't believe you that you were intimidated into giving him money. I mean, you tell me about one time when he held you hostage in your house and made you sleep on the floor.
His house.
His house, and made you sleep on the floor. And that was 6 months before you gave him $900 to pay his rent.
Correct, because I co-signed for that apartment. So I was partly eligible.
He held you hostage on the floor, according to you.
That was before he held me hostage. That was at the apartment that I was co-signed for. So he held me hostage after I co-signed for his rent and paid his deposit.
And when did you post the bail?
In November.
After that or before that?
Before that.
What was the last incident that happened with the two of you?
Just paying his rent.
That was a year ago.
That was in May.
May of what?
2008.
Why did she pay your rent?
She didn't pay my rent. She had given me extra cash to help me out with rent and other things I needed, but she never paid my rent. She had given me another loan to borrow.
Oh, perfect. How much? $910?
Your Honor, yes,
Shh. He said the magic words, because he not only doesn't know the truth, he doesn't know. Keep his story straight. Listen, Miss Midas, you work full-time, you go to school full-time. You have to stay in school. If you stay in school, you're going to get smarter. You will. You will. Right?
Correct.
You also have to start using good judgment.
Yes, I've learned.
Good judgment. This is not good judgment.
Yep.
You know, it may look okay, but after you get screwed over a couple of times, you got to step back and you say, listen, this is a pattern. This is somebody who was prepared to take advantage of me. He acknowledges that he was prepared to take advantage of you. And he did take advantage of you. He acknowledges that. That's his defense.
I don't
Shut up. I took advantage of her because she wanted to buy my affection and buy my love, and I let her do it. That's what he said in his answer. So that makes him a person of marginal moral character. He lies. He's always in trouble. People are always bailing him out. If it's not you, it's the manager of his gas station. It's always somebody who's going to bail him out.
Correct.
There's a reason he needs somebody else to bail him out, and that at his age, at age 22, he has no family to bail him out because he's probably been bailed out by his family for years.
Correct.
And they have had it up to here. You owe her $1,310. Judgment for the plaintiff. That's all.
Parties are excused and they step out.
She borrowed me money, loaned me money to have and help me support. I feel that I've paid her back.
He said he was going to commit suicide if I did not let him live with me, and I wouldn't let him live with me, so he left.
Just because she's out money, maybe she needs extra money for whatever she's doing.
He just said that I cannot leave, and he would not let me leave.
That's ridiculous. I mean, she could have left at any point in time.
He was drunk.
The door was always unlocked. I couldn't imagine myself holding anybody hostage. I mean, against the law.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Valdez versus Bueno Alanis Silva step forward.
19-year-old Jacqueline Valdez is suing her former friend, 18-year-old Isa Bueno, her boyfriend Robert Alanis, and Isa's mother, Nora Silva, for the balance on a Mazda MX-3.
Ms. Valdez, who did you sell this used car to?
I sold the car to Isa Bueno and Robert
Who's
Alanis.
Isa?
This is Isa
And who else?
and Robert.
That would be you. How old are you?
18 now.
How old were you when she sold the car?
17.
So you can't sell the car to her because she's 17. She can't make a contract. How old are you?
21, man.
You can sell the car to him.
Yes.
And who is this lady?
That's Isa's mom.
What does she have to do with this
I
case?
signed the title over to Isa's mom.
Why?
She wanted it under her name.
Is that right?
No, the car was impounded, and neither one of them had a license at the time. So the only one that could get it out of the impound was me, because I was the only one with a driver's license.
You sold a car to two people that didn't have a driver's license?
I was under the impression that they had a license. If they wanted a car, you need a license to drive.
Did you know Issa?
Yes, I went to school with her.
So you knew she was 17?
She said she was going to get her license the following Monday.
Okay. This is what your case is. You can't sell Issa a car because Issa cannot make a contract. She's a minor. So you sold Robert a car?
Yes.
For how much?
The car is being sold for $1,500.
And they gave you a down payment, and you want the rest of the money back because they didn't pay the balance.
Yes.
And they say that the car was for some reason impounded, the title was never transferred. They want the money back that they put in on the car, which is how much?
$1,250, I believe, or $1,200.
How much did they give you for the car?
They paid me $1,000 down.
And they want their money back. Where is the car now?
It's still impounded. We're not able to get it out because it's still under her name.
How did it get impounded?
It was being worked on by my brother and my boyfriend. The brakes were being fixed, and they were at work that day, and it was stolen and involved in a hit and run.
It was stolen? By whom?
We're not sure. There's no driver has been identified.
Really? What kind of a hit and run?
They hit a Suburban, I believe, in the back.
And then whoever was driving took off?
Yeah.
Where is the police report of the stolen car?
Right here.
Who reported the car stolen?
It was. We didn't even know it had been
Just a
stolen.
second. So the answer is nobody reported the car stolen.
Your Honor.
What?
We were all at my home when the police arrived at our home. The car was around the corner, and they're the ones that had told us that the car was involved in an accident and that they had contacted Ms. Jacqueline Valdez, and that Ms. Jacqueline had told them that the car had previously been stolen as well because the car turns on without a key in the ignition. So I guess the people that saw the accident or the people that were involved in the accident are the ones that actually reported to the police. So the police came searching for the vehicle.
And found it?
Yes.
You sure Robert and his friend weren't driving the vehicle when
No,
it was
Robert-
involved in the accident?
No, Robert was at our home, and the police had a description of the driver, and the police actually talked to Robert, and he didn't meet the description of the person that was driving the vehicle.
What about his friend who was working on the brakes?
That was my son, Jacob.
And he didn't fit the description either?
No.
Let me see. Police report.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jacqueline Valdez says her former friend, Issa Bueno, and her boyfriend, Robert Alanis, owe for the balance on a car she sold them. The defendants say the car was a lemon, and they are countersuing for a refund.
Okay. It says the owner of the car, that's Issa, and her boyfriend, that would be you, identified the driver of the car as Michael. So you knew who was driving the car?
No, we told them that we thought it might be him because he was hanging around when we were fixing the car, and he's had a previous record of doing so.
That's not what you said. You said the owner of the car and her boyfriend identified the driver as Michael. Didn't say you thought it might be Michael. You said he identified him and who dropped off the car and fled.
Well, we didn't know where the car was. It turned up that it was around the corner, and that's when they explained to us what the man looked like.
You think I believe this story you're telling me? You think I believe this story? Maybe your mother believes this story. This one doesn't believe this story.
Your Honor, the police they would not release the vehicle because of investigation, and they finally investigated the whole thing, and they released the car on February the 25th.
I'm telling you, your daughter and her boyfriend aren't giving me the whole story.
They were in my home, ma'am.
I'm telling you, your daughter and her boyfriend are not giving me the whole story about Michael, that they think maybe he was the one involved because he was hanging around. They're
Yes,
not
ma'am.
giving me the whole story.
That's all that they knew, and that's what they told
Don't
the
tell me
police
what
as
that's
well.
all that they knew. That's not all that they know. That's all that they told you.
They brought him up on a screen in the police car, and we said that that was somebody who he's related to who had been hanging around at the time that we were fixing the brakes at our home.
So you identified the person that had in fact been involved in the accident.
That we thought had been
Whose picture did they bring up on the screen?
his.
Well, how do you think they got it? How do you think they got it?
It's because, it's because the lady, the guy in the hit and run, the one that got hit, the lady had said that the guy's name might be Michael, and we figured, well, since it was a Michael, I mean, he's the only Michael that we know that could have done it.
Why would it be somebody that you knew who stole your car?
He has a record of
Just
doing
a second.
so.
Why would it be somebody that you knew who stole your car?
I don't know.
Do you have a driver's license?
Recently, I do now.
Did you have then?
No, ma'am, I didn't.
Did Michael?
I don't know, ma'am.
All right. So you want the money for the rest of the car?
Yes.
From him?
Yes.
Right. Go ahead. Why don't you owe her the money for the car?
It was because...
Don't speak.
I wasn't going to.
Don't speak. Go ahead. Why don't you owe her the money for the car? You purchased a car for $1,500. You gave her $1,000. You owe her $500.
It was because we weren't told, because the car had recently been stolen, and we weren't told about it, and it was able to be restolen without a key to turn on the ignition. And we didn't feel like we had to pay because...
Well, you do, because you were working on the car and putting brakes in the car, were you not?
Yes.
Were you not? How did you start the car?
We used a key, but it's able to turn on without the key
So
because
you
it was
knew
stolen.
you could turn it on without a key.
No, we didn't know.
We didn't know.
Until
I'm not
after
talking.
it was stolen.
Just a second.
It was told by me, by the police, that the car was able to. I knew that...
Just a second. So you didn't know yourself that the car was able to be turned on without a key?
No.
The police told you?
The police told me.
That's stricken from the record. That's hearsay. Listen to me very carefully, my dear. You don't have to pay anything because you're 17. He has to pay the balance of the car. How old is your car?
It's 14 years old.
14-year-old car is sold as is. It's had a long history, longer than
It was
my
sold
history.
as is with a dent.
Let's-
That was all I was informed of.
No. Show me the bill of sale. What does the bill of sale say?
This car is sold as is. The
Right.
only-
That's what
Yes.
as is means. That's what it is. Put your hand down. It's 14 years old. That's what it is.
But she should have informed me that all the brakes...
Shoulda,
were
woulda,
messed
coulda.
up.
Listen to me. That's why they don't allow 17-year-olds to enter into a contract. Buying a car as is means buying a car as is. That's what it means. It doesn't mean anything else. It doesn't mean only to dents, only to brakes, only to starters, only to mufflers. It means you are buying a 14-year-old car as is. You owe the balance on the car. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $500. Your counterclaim is dismissed. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I'm very pleased with the decision that she made.
I should have been notified of things that were wrong with the car before I bought it, because then I wouldn't have bought it.
I did let them know. I even have proof that the brakes were bad.
All we were informed of was a dent on the side, and I didn't really know anything else about the car. We test drove it.
We were informed that his mechanic would have looked at it and that it was only the rear brake, and it was all of them.
There was a dent in the car. They knew about the broken key.
All we were informed of was a dent on the side, and I didn't really know anything else about the car. We test drove it.
I don't know what they were saying.
We went to school together, and we were in cheerleading together.
We were cheerleaders together, so I knew who she was. I knew where she was coming from, and I just tried to help her out.
I think she could have been more honest.
We never really were like best friends. It was just